everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since I've seen you guys last, and that's because I was waiting for some parts to arrive and it didn't come, including the V5. It took forever for it to come, and so I didn't really have enough footage to be able to show, and I didn't want to sort of do a half-baked episode, so we waited till today. But in the meantime, I've been working on the new project, which you will see next week, starting next week. So today's the last episode of this, the Tesla. For now, the Tesla's not going to disappear. It's now part of the fleet, so you will see more of the Tesla. But had a bit of a shocker this week because Mr. Musk, Elon, knows about the Tesla. Now we'll come on to that later on. And what I mean by that, they know that it's had an accident. Yes, you'll see later as to how we know that. But you may have noticed that throughout this whole series, I've not shown the registration number plate on this car. Deliberately have withheld that from the channel. The reason being is because I don't want Tesla to know what the registration number plate of the car is, because what I've seen is that YouTubers who show their number plate and who have Tesla get their supercharging barred. Yes, that has been a trend, and I noticed the common denominator between them all is that they show their number plates. And I figured, you know what, Tesla probably do have their way of figuring it out, but I'm not going to make it easy for them to do so. I'll probably just jinx myself now. They're probably going to be targeting me, especially as a result of that. But that's the reason why you haven't seen this number plate, and we'll probably never see this number plate of this car on this on the channel until the car gets found out and Tesla blocks supercharging. Yeah, it could happen, and we'll talk about that later on in this channel or in this episode. So in the meantime, we're going to kick off and do the final sort of snagging on the car, and we will need to take a little break because of the V5 issue, but we'll come on to that again. So let's get in and start taking the car, or putting the car together, finishing off the final bits and pieces, and then we're going to take it for its first test drive, and we're going to break down the numbers. And that's something that we haven't done for a while. We're going to be doing it today. You're going to see how much I paid for this Tesla, and then you can comment below whether you think I got a good deal. I think I got a good deal, and I really don't care if people don't think so, but I think you will agree that I got a good deal, especially when you consider the damage on the car. And it shouldn't have been a Cat S, it should have been a Cat N. Let's crack on with this episode. Okay, here we are back at the car. So let's take a quick peek at what's going on here. So we're going to get our grill off in a second, but here is the bit that I was showing you in my office. So this kind of fits on like that. Okay, so it fits in under there, and that goes in under there, and then that fits on like that. Now to get this on properly, we're going to have to take the bumper off, and then we'll get them on the stand, and then of course we've got to put the grill that we've got that goes in the bottom just down there, and that will protect the radiator. So first thing we're going to do is get this bumper off, so let's go and do that. Okay, so we've got a bumper here. Now this is the mesh that I'm gonna put in place. I've got this from, where did I get this from? Amazon. It cost me about £36. I could have got aluminium, but I wanted plastic, which costs a little bit more. And what we're gonna do is we are literally going to cut a piece, just basically cut it square all the way along. And then this bit that I used last week to secure this end, we're going to unscrew that and then fasten it there. There's a screw there. We'll make some kind of fastener in the middle there, and then use these two ends here. And that will be our fastener. That will secure it, and it will make it kind of look OEM. That's the whole idea. Just try and make it look as OEM as possible, bearing in mind that there isn't, or Tesla don't list one. There must be one there because there's clips, but they don't list one on their website. So we're having to make one up. So we'll get my multi-tool, we'll cut across, and then we'll start doing the fit up and seeing how that looks. Right, so basic shape has been cut. So what we'll do now, we'll take this off here, and then we'll put this underneath it and screw that as a sandwich back into place. We've got this hole here and this hole here to use as well, so we'll get another bit of plastic and then put another screw into there, just there, and that will secure it. We've cut some holes to allow these slots here to just fit in like so, if that makes sense, something like that, and that makes it fit flush. And then basically we'll just tidy it up, and then from the other side it'll look good. It'll look a little bit messy on this side, but this is the side you don't see. So let's get that done, and I'll show you the results when we finish. Right, grill on, very rudimental and very crude, but trust me, from the other side it looks great, and that ain't going nowhere. Let's get the badge on now, and I may have to trim the badge back because of the fitment on the earlier cars, but we'll see. So we'll fit it first and then we'll offer it up and see how it looks. Right, so the Tesla T, that's in place, and that looks so much better, doesn't it? That's fitting nice, and the grill from this side looks absolutely perfect. You would never know that wasn't an OEM grill. It fits really well, and of course you're only going to see it from there. More importantly, it's going to provide the protection that we need for that opening there, that radiator. Right, let's get this fitted. And then, well, we're going to fit up all of these cables here. These are the parking sensors. Just a word on the parking sensors. If you look here, the later one has an additional parking sensor on the edge. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you look at the parking sensors here, we only have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 2 additional ones. That's because this car doesn't have auto drive. That came later on. So this has no ability to have auto drive whatsoever. The 2014 models, I think from the 2016 they had auto drive, and then you need the additional camera sensors plus cameras. This doesn't have any cameras for the same reason. So what we need to do is put a substitute in, and I have a substitute one to fit. I'm just going to paint it up, so we're not going to fit that today, but we will at a later date. So let's get all these plugged in, and then let's get that fitted. But first of all, we've got to fit this foam crash bar that goes in like that, and then we can get the rest done. Right, so we run into a problem, and I have actually read about this problem, and that is that the parking sensor is too short, the cable, because the distance between the sensors on the facelift bumper is greater. So what you have to do is lengthen the wire here so that it can reach the hole down there. So I can make it reach at a pull, but when you try to mount the bumper, it just falls apart, as you may have seen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lengthen this off camera, and then we'll do it again. Right, cable lengthen. That's now solved the problem. That's all you have to do. Just lengthen the cable, and then that will solve the problem. And then you can pull it back in place, like so. And now we've got plenty of length. Just got to tidy it all up now. Right, let's try and fit it again. Right, so the bumper is now back on, and I've put the number plate holder on as well, but as you can see, it looks very good. That grille is on there and it looks really OEM, which is great. And with the grille or the badge back in, when we shut down, it looks the business. Finishes it off, doesn't it? There's still a little bit of trim to go in here. I'm trying to figure out what that is, and then that will finish it off, but other than that, we're looking good. Right, now it's time to service this car. Now you may wonder, what servicing do you need to do on a Tesla? Well, there is some servicing, and it consists of this. Watch very carefully, because you will miss it. Okay, watching carefully. Keep it with me now. This is the complex bit. Oh, there you go. You see what I mean? There you go. Car's now serviced. Okay, so after, hold on, let's bring you a little bit. There you are, that's better. So after servicing the car, pretty much I couldn't do it any more than what I've done. So because the car was in valet mode, I haven't been able to fit the lock, and I had to, and the reason why I couldn't fit the lock is because, like I said, the minute I shut that, I won't be able to open that front again, and I need to open and shut it to make sure I can get the adjustment just right. So essentially, I'm now waiting for the V5 to arrive, and once I get the V5, I can then apply to Tesla for ownership of the car. Fortunately, the V5 came. I now have the V5, which is brilliant. So I then applied to Tesla to get the car. So what you do with that is you take a copy of the V5 and you take your driver's license, and then you send that to Tesla. That's when the problems began, because the process should take between 3 to 5 days to complete. And 5 days came and went, and still had no notification on the app. It's an app that you get, and that goes live. So I rang Tesla, I found a number, and I actually rang them. There is a number, would you believe, to ring Tesla, but it's not very easy to find. But anyway, I managed to get through, and I spoke to a really nice guy from their customer support. And he said to me, yeah, there seems to be a problem with this one. He said, I can see that the car's been in an accident. That was it. Tesla, no, the car has been in an accident. Oh, man. So of course, that then says to me, well, if they know it's been in an accident, then they're going to switch off supercharging. Now, let me just reaffirm this. Supercharging is not a biggie for me at all, because I didn't buy this car to get free supercharging. I didn't buy it for that. I bought it because I get free charging at work. I don't go on the motorway that much. When I do go and I happen to take my car, I get paid for the traveling through the normal reimbursement process. So even if I go on a motorway for myself personally, the car's pretty much going to be fully charged, and that's going to be free. So supercharging for me is not a biggie at all. I'm happy to pay for my charging it's just a Brucey bonus. So I've kind of resigned myself to think, okay, that's fine. But I really want them to sort this problem out. And he promised to get back to me within the end of the day, and I didn't hear anything, which I was really disappointed. But then I looked into my my junk mail, and I found this email from Tesla, same day, saying to me that the documents that I sent was illegible. So I decided to send the documents again, but this time bigger, more high definition print, so there's no way that they could do that. And I did that about 8 o'clock in the evening, so I figured the next day they'd pick it up. Before I could even blink, half an hour later, the car came to life. Literally, I had an email from Tesla saying your documents are now approved, the car is now enabled. And sure enough, there it was. So I can get into the car, I can take it out of value mode, I can set my new pin, which I've done, and I can now work on the car. Best of all, the app tells me that I have free supercharging. So, not sure what's going on, but the app basically tells you what the car is and the spec of the car, and also what features and facilities you have, and it clearly states, as you can see on screen now, that I have free supercharging. Unlimited free supercharging at that. Whether it works or not, we'll know in time, but I'm in no hurry to test that out because I have no journeys. I'm going on a journey next week, but I'll be taking the S3 because I like taking the S3 on journeys, and it's a great car for that. So watch this specs. But anyway, let's get back to the car. So now we've got the car enabled and in my name, and I can do all sorts of things, and trust me, the app is great. I was able to update the car, so the car is now running the latest software, and that has changed the screen and the appearance as well, which is nice. So now we can go about doing the front. Now I did the front off camera. When I say the front, I'm talking about the mechanism. It's a bit of a mess, but it works. I'll show you now what I mean. But it's completely functional. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And the reason why it's a bit of a mess, because I've used a new front with the old locking mechanism, and it's not supposed to work with that. So I've customized it a bit, and I ain't showing you that because I know what you people are like. Okay, so I'm not gonna add fuel to the fire, but I will show you the results of what it looks like and that it works very clear. And it's very important that the latch works because that's a safety mechanism. So if ever the because with the Tesla, when you open the frunk, it's basically it's electric switch. So it activates that switch, it releases it, and then any car you're supposed to have a mechanism that catches that, so that if that happens to be released while you're driving at speed, there is a mechanical method of catching the bonnet so it doesn't flap on top of your the windscreen and do that. So we had to get that in place, and the other mechanism. Unfortunately, we've been able to do that, and it works just fine. Let me show you. Okay, so here we go, final assembly. So here's all the customized fabricated bit that we had to do. Literally cut out a piece here to get this in place, and then we've got a metal plate going across here for reinforcement. You can't see it, but it's there. And then we've got these additional bolts to provide this with stability so this doesn't move, and then the original bolts below holding the whole lot in, and then some bolts here, and they're all locked tight, glued in as well, so they won't move. Works a treat, works perfectly. Now we've got to assemble the frunk, and to do that we've got to get all of this in there. Yeah. Alright, let the games commence. Okay, and the frunk is now in place and all the trim all cleaned up. As you can see, there's quite a lot of space down there. So not only do you have that, now normally if this is the dual drive, the second motor will be here, but because this is a single drive, rear wheel drive, then you have all that additional space that you can use. So it's quite a lot of space, and then you can put like a net there. That's what these are here for, to hold a cargo net to stop anything from coming forward, and you have all this space. And we managed to also fit the front trim as well to make it look a little bit more OEM, which is quite nice as well. So it's really come together well actually. You know, it'll be difficult to tell. And then over here we have this piece here which I will fit, but I need to modify, and I can't bother to do that now because I really want to take this car for its first drive. So should we go for the first drive in this car? Yes, I think we should. Okay, here we go. Right, car is on. I do love the sound of this car. And of course this car has been upgraded to the latest version of the software that Tesla give you, which is great. I'm looking at the big dashboard here now, and it is fantastic really. But that's not what you're here for. Let's just see what first drive sounds like. So stick it to drive and off we go. So far so good. Parking sensors are working good. We'll go to the top of the road and then back again. Very quiet. It's very quiet. Actually, I'm going to stop. I just want to change the brakes. Software, suspension, pedals and steering, regenerative braking. Let's turn that to low. That way we're going to clean the brakes off. She stops very well and accelerates very well too. Okay, so we'll just go out here and then we'll reverse up. Reversing camera comes on. Everything seems to be okay, no noises. Brakes very well. Can't get over how quiet this car is. Just putting her in full lock. Yeah, she drives very well. Okay, that is it. Test drive done. And there are no problems. So I think we are about ready for our MOT. Yes, most definitely. Okay, so that is it. Car is finished and she's looking real good. So the only thing that needs to be done is I've got to get it regassed for the AC to work, and also for me to be able to fully charge it. That's going to cost me about £55, and I've got to put it through an MOT, which we'll do sometime this week. So stay tuned to next week to see if we pass or not. I'll probably put it on Instagram, but knowing you guys, you'll probably check. Or will you? No, you won't, if you don't know what the license plate number. And we'll come on to that in a second. But let's do the numbers, because we haven't done that for a while on any of our projects. But this one, I suspect a lot of you will want to know what we spent on this car. So, figures are here. So, we bought the car from ASM on auction. And like I said, in the beginning of this project, it was the most intense auction that I've ever done, because I really wanted this car, and it wasn't like these models and this type of car comes up pretty often. I mean, this is a P85 In 2014, it was pretty much the top of the range. It was launched just before the P100, so it's got the big battery, but this is also the performance edition, the performance plus, so it's got quite a few toys on there. So if you were to buy this car second hand now, you're looking at around £34,000 for a decent one. Now I know some of you will say, well, you got a salvage car, so can you really justify the cost, or have you really made a saving? Well, yes, I have, because I don't plan to sell this car. I said that about the GTE, didn't I? I'm not planning to sell this car unless someone else offers me a stupid amount of money. So this car is here for a while, and the reason why I've bought this car, A, I've always wanted a Tesla, B, I wanted an electric car because I get free charging at work. Let's cut to the chase. So the car came from ASM. I paid £17,693 out the door. So that's all fees, etc. Top. It came to, I think, when I won the car, it was about 16.5, something like that. So with the fees, etc., it's come to about 17.6, almost £1,000 of fees. Actually, no, it must have been more. Anyway, the delivery, I spent £197 getting it delivered. It wasn't too far. It was from Southampton, but because it was a heavy car, I needed a more heavier transporter. Although the guy who delivered it, anyway, the total cost for the car with delivery was £17,890. Then the parts. So I'll break down all the parts and the costs, and we'll then do the total of what the costs of the parts were. So I had a near side front wing, that's £150. Front bumper, new shape front bumper, £172. The bumper chrome grille, £146. So that's the chrome that goes along the bumper, £146. The badge and badge support, so that's the black inlay, and then the Tesla badge for the new shape bumper, that was £125. Near side hub knuckle, £255. Slam panel for the front, £180. Anti-roll bar or drop link, £23. Near side wishbone, £109. Aircon radiator, £135. Near side headlight, £70. The bumper brackets, that was 70 quid. The cooling fan from America, £165, including postage. The paint the front bumper and the wing was £340, including preparation and take out a few bumps that were in the original bumper. Bonnet gas struts, so that's the gas struts for the front. Now I had to buy the gas struts. Now the car did come with gas struts, but it didn't have the mounts. You can't buy those mounts separate. Fortunately, I found someone in Lithuania who was selling the whole lot, because most people were just selling the struts, but this guy was selling the struts and the mounts. He obviously realized it was a problem, so I bought two of those. I didn't need two, but I just needed a bracket. So the most expensive brackets in the world, they cost me 60 quid for two. And then another front bracket for the bumper was £64, and then a brand new battery, 168 quid. And this isn't a wet battery. I bought an AGM battery because they last longer and they give less problems on the Tesla. So it was over spec to what Tesla did, but I wanted it to last the distance. So total price in parts was £2,292. So the total for the car with all the parts all in was £20,182. That's a lot of money. It's the most expensive car that I've ever bought on salvage. Not the most expensive car that I ever bought. The most expensive car that I ever bought was an Audi A7, and that was 70k. I had it on a PCP plan though. But that's the most expensive salvage car that I bought. Now some of you could say, well, you can get yourself an R8 for that. True. And probably one day I'll sell this car to get the R8. But at the moment, this is the car of choice that I wanted, so I'm really happy with that. Now if I was to buy this car, like I said, straight car, P85 plus, like what this car will cost, the cheapest one that I saw, and that had more mileage than this. It was about 80k. This car has got 52k on there, so it's a very low mileage car for what it is. And that was coming in at £34,000. So I have saved myself £13,818. Now that is nothing to laugh about. So I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so we'll get the car MOT'd and we'll get that sorted, and then that will be it on this project. We've got a new project starting next week, a £2,500 challenge, and we'll probably wrap that one up in 1 week. But my final words on the Tesla is this: it's been a great experience. I'm going to look forward to driving the car. We'll see if it supercharges. If it does, we will certainly let you know. But in the meantime, I will enjoy the car for what it is. So that's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe if you are just a casual viewer. In the meantime, hit that subscribe button down below. Click on the bell notification so you're notified whenever we release a new video. And we will see you on the next one. Have a good week.